We have on the phone Steve Smith, the head coach of the Coshocton Redskins. And last night at Stewart Field, Coshocton fell to Highland 45-28. But the Redskins put some points on the board last night. Good morning, Coach. Thanks as always for being with us.
Morning. How are you, Mike?
Very good. Now, a rainy night at Stewart Field and around our area. Before we even get started on the highlights of the game, how much did that the rain and the delay and the weather factor in to the game last night?
It always factors in. Those dealing with the elements, but they had to deal with it too. So, and it was kind of had some ebbs and flows in the game based off of what was happening outside.
The first quarter was scoreless. Do you attribute that to the tough, stout defense, or did the weather play a factor in that as well?
We had a nice drive going, and then we fumbled in exchange. So, yes and no. I think it was two new. We've never played each other before, and I think we were just kind of feeling each other out that first quarter.
Well, 7-7 was the halftime score, and that was after a rain delay, fairly lengthy rain delay. But 7-7 going into the locker room at halftime. What was the message there? You were very much into the game, obviously, tied at half.
Yeah, we were. If you saw the first half, we were knocking on the door, the whole first half, and we were finally able to grab the momentum. We had a nice long pass play from Colton to Logan Wentz, and then scored a touchdown and got us up 7-0. But they were able to punch it in right before half from the 1 yard line. So it was going in tied, but we felt like we could compete with them, and the kids were excited and they were ready to play in the second half.
The third quarter, that's when the tough part began. Highland scored 28 points in the third quarter. Was there? Did they have some? What did they do right, and what could your team have done better that quarter?
Obviously, the momentum swung us right as soon as we came out of half. They ran a kickoff back to around the 15 or the 20. And they were able to punch it in. But, we were able to answer back and get it tied up at 14. We stalled out on the drive and had to punt. And they were just able to execute and get the ball in the end zone.
Well, final score, that 28-point third quarter by Highland was difficult to overcome, and certainly wasn't the score that you had hoped for, but your team scored some TDs last night, so you did some good stuff offensively. Can you talk about that a little bit? What worked the best for you?
Yeah, we had a good mix last night. We were able to throw the ball a little bit, and our run game got going there, especially in the first half. We scored in all facets of the game. We ran a kickoff back for a touchdown. Cole Conkle made a great play on a pass play for them, and ran it back for a touchdown. He had a pick six. So, we were able to score in all three facets of the game. To date, this has been our best game of the year. The kids played hard for 4 quarters. Obviously, we have some mistakes that we need to clean up and just get back to work on Monday and keep working.
So a competitive game for the Redskins, scored some points. You touched on some of this already, but what are some of the things that you feel you can build on after this game? Just confidence. We have a lot of young players that are playing right now, and they're getting their first varsity experience. We've had a ton of injuries this year, so we're missing some key players, and so we've had some young guys that had to step up for them. So it's just going through those growing pains, and with playing the schedule that we play, you gotta be close to perfect to get through a ball game. It's going to be tough again next week on the road at John Glenn. John Glenn is 2-0. They will play Indian Valley this afternoon. Have you had time yet to look that far ahead?
Yeah, they're a classic John Glenn team. They're big and physical up front, and they like to run the ball. So we're going to have to match that physicality and then try to stop the run, and we got to put some points on the board.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that game as well. And, Steve, I want to thank you for your time on the Football Saturday program. Look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Steve Smith, the head coach of the Coshocton Redskins. We have a lot more to come on the Football Saturday program. Ridgewood beat Carrollton on the road 31-0 to improve to 3-0 on the season. Good morning, Coach, and congratulations on 3-0.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Well, Carrollton, typically they put a pretty good team on the field, a competitive team. How would you gauge Carrollton's team last night going into the game? What were you expecting?
They were a big physical football team, real well coached. They do things right. We thought it'd be a good game, and for a half it really was. We came out and put the second half drive together and went up 14-0, and I think we scored every drive after that in the second half. So we did really well. First half we did a nice job. We just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. We had 2 fumbles, and we haven't put the ball on the ground through a scrimmage or any of the games this year. And so that was unusual for us, but we just found ways last night to mess things up, and we were able to overcome that in the second half and put a nice game together.
Well, and certainly things worked out the first half and the second half, and Ridgewood has yet to let to give up a touchdown this season. So you got to give kudos to the defense.
Yeah, we've been doing a great job. Our kids, we are not big by any stretch of imagination, but I think we do a great job of getting to the ball. We play with a great enthusiasm for the game. And this group likes to work. I've really enjoyed being around this group of kids. They've been fun. We're little, but we fly around. We're like gnats. We just annoy the heck out of you, I think, after a while. But I thought we had some great efforts last night. I thought, Chase McQueen was really good for us last night in a lot of ways. And I don't like to name kids. I mess that up. But we just had a lot of good plays last night. A lot of kids gave us a really good effort.
Well, and again, typically we don't mention kids' names, but are there some other aspects of the game that either are emerging or maybe are a little more effective than you were anticipating? Or what are some of the aspects of your game that you think that your generals are doing well?
Well, I don't know if we're improving at anything. I mean, obviously I hope we are improving at something, but I mean, I thought we had a chance to be okay coming into the year, and because of our attitude and our effort, the approach we've taken, I think we're getting the most out of what we have. I've been real happy with everything we're doing. Now the goal is to continue, and not get satisfied. Don't start being sick and miss a practice. Don't let little injuries keep you out of things. Things you battle through a season, and undoubtedly they'll come, but you got to limit those, and it's like we tell the kids, you got to keep getting up every morning, and you got to keep going to work, and hopefully we keep things rolling. We got a big game this week at home and start a 3-game home stretch, so we're excited about that. And today's a new day, and get back after it.
Okay, one more non-conference game next week against the Utica, and then you start the IBC schedule, some of the games that you have circled. But what can you tell us about Utica? What do you know about them, if anything, at this point?
And not a whole lot. We didn't get back till late last night, obviously, with the delay. Everybody went through the weather, I think, last night, or most people did. So the games were all delayed, so we got late starts on everything. I was just in on Carrollton, and I haven't had time to do Utica yet. That'll be something I can look forward to this weekend, have fun, watch a lot of football, too.
Well, John, I did forget to ask about the weather and how that impacted your game. Was it a late start, or was there a delay in the middle of the game?
No, once we started, we played. But
okay.
We went out for warm-ups, about 10 after 6, and they immediately took us off the field with lightning, and we didn't start till 8 o'clock. So, those are never fun for anybody, and I don't know the book on how to handle those. I've been doing it for a long time, but I still don't know what's the best way to handle the rain delay. So, you hope your kids stay focused, and you hope that, you come out with the right energy, but it's tough sitting in a room, especially when you're on the road. You're in a small visiting locker room for 2 hours just sitting there waiting. And, our kids responded and did a good job.
Well, John, the Generals off to a great start once again, 3-0, as you will host Utica next week. I look forward to speaking with you next Saturday about that game, and thank you for being with us on the Football Saturday program this morning.
Thanks, Mike. You have a great week.
That is John Slusser, the head coach of the Ridgewood Generals. We have more to come on the Football Saturday program. We have on the phone Thom Lesecki, the head coach of the Riverview Black Bears. Now, last night, Tuslaw beat Riverview 48-6 at Don Rushing Stadium, but certainly a lot of positives to talk about that game. We have on the phone Riverview head coach Thom Lesecki. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me again.
Coach, before we get into the details of the game, whose idea was it to schedule your three first opponents this year? Tuslaw, your first two teams that you played are 3-0. Tuslaw is 2-1, and they have a very strong football tradition. So was that your doing?
Well, I only take credit for Garraway.
Okay,
I had that one. Everything else, and we had a Tuslaw last year when we needed to pick up. So. You know what, though, Mike? I think these are teams that I want to try to be like. They're good communities, they're good schools, they're good programs, great coaches. Now that Tuslaw, that Brock is there, just solid, great programs that you know what you're going to get year in, year out, and that's what we want to be. And so I'm not going to try to shy away from them. We're going to compete with them year in, year out, and see what we get.
Well, Tom, your team is young. Your team is your team is developing. What do they learn from a schedule like that to begin the season?
Well, I think not just the kids, but us as coaches, we're learning more about our kids and where the direction we're going. Our kids are excited about last night, and we came out in a new formation. We came out double tight wishbone, and we ran the ball. We ran the ball for the first 8 minutes of the game and controlled the clock. And so they were excited about that. And when you look at our kids, we have extremely young kids, but they're big. And we're going to be big for the next 6 years at least. And we're limited with our athletes. So we go better straight ahead than we either do going side to side or with speed. So we're trying to build this program now around the kids that we have.
Now, I've talked to, just a little bit ago, talked to a Riverview fan, and he was in the stands excited, and the crowd was excited to see your team score their first touchdown of the season. Can you tell us a little bit about that play and the fan interaction?
Well, it was. And even when we came out at halftime, the fans gave us a big ovation as we came out from half. We ran quarterback sneak for a touchdown. We just kept pounding the ball, getting it down. The Kindred Snow did a great job. Blaine Mounts, Brody Buxton just did a great job of just controlling the line of scrimmage and pounding the football. And we got down there and scored. And really, Mike, that's our first touchdown in 2 years that hasn't been scored late in the fourth quarter. We only scored like 4 touchdowns last year, and they're all really at the end of the games. And so that was a big win for us.
And again, your team is young. How many freshmen did you say that you start?
Out of the 22 starting spots, there were 6 of them filled by freshmen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And a lot of other teams have freshman teams.
What's that, Mike?
It's a lot of other schools, they have freshman teams.
Well, we're still trying to have our freshman team. So some of these kids are playing a little bit of both right now. But, our offensive line last night, of the 7 guys since we were double tight, 5 of them are either freshmen or sophomores. And so we're excited.
Now, and also, I understand your team played hard. They played spirited football all 4 quarters.
Correct. Even on the defensive side, where we started 4 freshmen on defense, we did a much better job flying around, making plays, a lot more gang tackles. So, we were excited, and the fans were excited about. I'm glad to hear that they're excited about what we saw.
So, how would you characterize this game in the whole context of building your team and moving forward? How good of a game did your team play compared to other games this year or last?
Well, like I said, this was by far our best. We were able to move the ball consistently on offense. We just didn't score. We got down inside the 23 other times and just didn't score. We turned it over after 8 minutes in the first quarter. They scored with 19 seconds, and then we fumbled the kickoff return. And so, that was a quick turnaround. So, and one of their last touchdowns was under the last minute. by the young kids. So, across the whole board, our guys did a much better job.
Well, next week, let's see, you start the MVL schedule. You'll be hosting Philo, who is 1-2, and I think that it'd be reasonable to expect another lively crowd at Don Rushing Stadium.
I hope so, and I'm excited about what we can do out there. It's probably going to be a very quick game. I think we're both going to line up and try to out physical and muscle each other. So we may be off the field and done before 8:30.
All right, very good. Look forward to speaking to you again next week about that Philo game, and glad to hear about the progress that's being made with the Riverview football team, and we'll look forward to some more good stuff in the future. Tom, thank you as always for talking to us on Saturday morning.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you, guys.